Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Illusion Fox Gaming. Today we're doing the level 88 endwalker tank role quest, a pact proven. The Keeper of the Entwined Serpents has good news to share. Their Seedseer has grown strong enough to receive visitors. Come, we must go to Stillglade Fane at once. Okay. Well, that's good that she's recovered enough to where we can go see her and figure out next steps. The fuck was I? Somehow I spawned over there? Elder Seedseer, it fills my heart with joy to see you in better health. I'm glad by your presence as well, my friend. Unless you wonder, know that the Conjurers found no trace of the poison in my humors. Ready, I would resume our search for Gleipnir. Maybe up to the task, but you are not. 'Tis one thing to engage in conversation, quite another to go gallivanting about the Twelveswood hunting a blasphemy. I'm aware you are a conjurer of surpassing skill, and will not presume to gainsay your judgment. But have my wounds not healed? Those visible with the naked eye, perhaps. I worry that the strain of your communion with the Great One has taken a toll on you in ways we may struggle to perceive. The Great One is a being of purest ether, and you were exposed to its unbridled despair, its raw terror. There may be consequences. I'm aware of that, but Gleipnir must be stopped. Until the blasphemy is laid low, people will continue to die. How am I to carry out my duties cloistered here? How am I to deliver the forest and its people from this despair? 'Tis your duties that demand you remain. I understand your frustration, but if you were to fall in battle, if your guiding light you bear were to fade, then all Gridania would be lost. Rest, Connie, rest, and gather your strength, so that when the time comes you are fit to do what must be done. In the meantime, trust in your allies. You are right. That said, I see no reason I cannot join in planning our next step. As you said before, conversation is quite unlike gallivanting about on a hunt. Our encounter with Gleipnir has made plain that we cannot hope to triumph over it as we are. Only with the Great One's power can we achieve victory. When the seventh number of calamity was nigh, the Great One committed a portion of its boundless strength to extend a barrier over heaven and earth. The Ermine Hedge. Thus was the Twelveswood spared the worst. If we could convince it to again lend us even a small measure of that power, we would not need fear the poison. Therefore, I believe we should pour our efforts into placating the elementals that we might earn their favor. I gotta get you heard. Yeah, sounds about right. Indeed, we must find a way to assure the Great One of our good intentions. To remind it that we labor not for its destruction, but its salvation. I think, too, that we must gain a greater understanding of what drives Gleipnir. It seems to bear a resentment towards the elementals, the Great One in particular. Why? Yeah, that's something we're going to have to figure out. I have pondered this question myself. Lingering memories of the person Gleipnir once was may be responsible. Reports from Ronzat Han suggest that this is likely the case, in fact. If we could but ascertain the original identity of the blasphemy, where were we even to begin our investigation? The Echo. You grant a vision of Gleipnir's past, and I was there? Then I may know who he is, or was. As do I. The boy who trained alongside Connie in her youth. Isura Supin, after all these years. Is this what became of him? You mentioned him briefly before. Were you close? Isur was a Pajali like me, but he had never known his parents and devoted himself wholly to his studies. He embraced the role the Force had bestowed upon him, and truth be told, was a much better student than I ever was. A fair assessment despite your esteemed heritage. You never took to my lessons as well as he, ever dreaming of the outside world. Stealing off into the woods more times than I can count. I could not keep watch over you at all hours, not even if I tried. The elder seed seer, a rebellious spirit, I can scarce imagine it. I resent being a Pajal. It was inconceivable to me that I could not live among the others, and I did not scruple to express my misgivings to Isumi Yan at every opportunity. Isura was a pillar of constant support. It was thanks to his encouragement that I at last embraced my destiny and resolved to use my gifts for the greater good. We had become seed seers together, I believed, until one fateful day, when we were gathering herbs in the forest at Isumi Yan's behest. We met a wanderer hailing from a distant land who told us his beloved was with the child, and that he had traveled to Gridania to beseech the Great One for a painless birth. He asked us to guide him to the guardian tree. However, entry into such a sacred place was not ours to permit, and there was something odd about his demeanor besides. With regret, I refused him, but Isur was loath to turn away a goodly stranger in need. He agreed to guide the man despite my protestations. I ran to Isumi Yan as fast as I could, and together we made haste to the guardian tree. We found the man motionless on the ground, having succumbed to the Great One's rage. And next to him was Iasura, alive but unconscious. In time he recovered and relayed the whole story. In truth, the man had been an adventurer, a seeker of wealth and glory. And as he had knelt to make false supplications, he lunged forward to tear a branch from the guardian tree. He was yet a child, and Isura had no inkling of the darkness that could dwell within men's hearts. He learned the lesson that day, but the price he paid for it was great indeed. The Great One stripped Isura of his horns, and with them the right to call himself a Pajal. I was forced to expel him from the fane. Never saw him again, nor heard a word of what had become of him. Though not for lack of trying. Despite his hardships, did he remain in the Twelveswood all this time, I wonder? He dreamed of naught else but becoming a seed seer, but life and service to the people in the forest. He knew the weight of the responsibility and was eager to bear it. But he was deprived of that purpose by the very elementals he loved. And yet, he did not lose that will to serve. I suspect, instead, resolved to watch over the Twelveswood in his own way. I shudder to think that what could have hastened his transformation to Gleipnir, as if his life was not harsh enough. In our final conversation, Isura confided to me that he would search for a means to calm the Great One's rage, and earn absolution. To that end, he said that he would seek counsel of the Mughals. They have called the Twelveswood home for far longer than we have, and so none are more like to have knowledge of its most hidden workings. That comes as no surprise. He would not give up so easily on his dream. Even the Mughals knew not of Isura. They may be able to help us in other ways. Will you tell the Brown Patch in my stead? I have faith that they will accept you with their characteristic aplomb. Just a moment here. Sorry about that. Oh, good. My last Christmas gift I ordered is going to be in time to actually be gifted out on Christmas. Something I was kind of worried about. Huh, quite a peculiar face you have, Kupo. Familiar too. You wouldn't be the self-same warrior who gave the legendary Moogle's Guard what for, would you? Aha, it's an honor to meet you. Allow me to thank you personally for bringing that silliness to an end. Pukwa Pika's the name. What brings you to our neck of the Twelves Wood? Why, what a pleasant coincidence. We were just discussing how we ought to go about calming the elementals, Kupo. That blasphemy with the dreadful horns has got them on edge, and for good reason. I had to ask my personal guard here to sleep with one eye open. Guess you haven't noticed the beast corruption has been spreading all throughout the woods. Needless to say, we've all got to stand up and put the Twelves Wood to rights. Rayo suggested that the Moogles contribute by scouring the forest for even the smallest signs of taint. Got to cleanse it before it gets out of hand, you know. Difficult and time-consuming work, but if it's in service to the forest, then we'll do it gladly, Kupo. Hey, I know you. You're the adventurer who gave me some of my finest scars. Cupty Kupo, the Moogle's Guard. No hard feelings with the whole hail to the king, Kupo. Bit, I hope. I'm not going to call for a rematch either, in case you're worried about that. Raya and the others cured us of our tempering, and afterwards sat us down for a stern lecture. No more calling upon good King Moogle the 12th for us. May he ever remain unsummoned in his royal grace and splendor. Indeed, what better way to make up for past indiscretions than to serve the realm? Even now our kin scour every elm of the Twelves Wood, and we'd be remiss not to do our part. We'd be overjoyed to have such heroes such as you helping us as well. For only something tells me you have a sharp eye for the taint we seek to cleanse. Can we count on you, Kupo? Your reputation for magnanimity is well deserved. Let's get moving to higher ground, that we may survey the area and locate any particular nasty spots of blight. Hmm? Oh, you're able to make your way up here after all. I was ready to be stuck. Apologies for leaving you behind, but so easy to forget that your kind lacks wings, Kupo. Now then, where is it? This is the only time I can ever think where you didn't dismount for a quest. I'm guessing that said something about over here. I accidentally clicked and was just like, just at the time of coming up going, is something wrong? That was some fine work, Kupo. I dare say it's even better shape than it was before. The others are doubtless flittering about stamping out corruption wheresoever it rears its hideous head. If I were the Great One, I'd be applauding your efforts. Well, insofar as such a being without hands can clap, I suppose. How goes the taint cleansing, Cupty Coop? Did what I could, but I swear, as soon as I finish this one area, two more start manifesting a fresh taint. The force ability to heal itself is waning, This sickness is spreading too fast for even Legion Moogles to manage. If we don't come up with a better solution soon. The situation is more grave than we imagined, Kupo. Oh, what do we do? We should maintain our efforts to purify the forest regardless, but since there are so many of us, we'll also help the forest remember how to help itself. A brilliant idea, I think. How do we go about doing that? I was just getting to that part, Kupo. We performed the friending. The friending? What in the name of good King Moogelmog the 12th may he shower us with love and compassion and Koopa nuts is that? I can't remember the ancient rites name, so I just made something up on the spot, Kupo. Let's forget about that for now and move on to the stuff I do remember. It's an old ceremony, first formed when the nation of Gridania was but a spark of an idea out of a random thought in its founders' heads. They knew that if we were to establish a home within the Twelveswood, that they would first have to entreat the elementals for permission. And so a mage and their company found and cleansed a few sources of foul ether, planting saplings in their place, and consecrated the soil with a prayer to show the forest the purity of their intentions. The elementals were so taken with this display that not only did they permit the people to settle within the forest, they also bestowed upon him their blessing as proof of their new covenant, Kupo. I remember now. The Gridanians still honor the agreement to this day. For every tree that is cut down, a sapling is planted. So if we follow the history's example, we can soothe the forest pain and also nourish it with new life. That's right, Kupo. Oh, but I wasn't finished with the story. Remember the mage who planted those sacred saplings? He was none other than Jorn, sire of Ihohokpota, the very first Pagel. From that day forward, the elementals would bless a select few Hjors with horns, favoring them with their fellowship. The Pagel were exalted by all the people of the Twelveswood. Even we Moogles look upon them with awe, and that's how it all began. Something wrong, Kupo? You have a strange look on your face. How dreadful, Kupo. Well, what exactly are you saying? So the man you think may have become Gleipnir was a Pagel stripped of his blessing, and the blasphemy kills with poison that manifests symptoms that resemble those of the creeping death. I feel sorry for this Iasura. To love the elementals will only be shunned by them, to be surrounded by the beauty of the Twelveswood and know that he is forever an outsider. All for a child's mistake. That despair could have easily caused him to turn. This poison that preys upon those who bear the Twelveswood blessing, the auras just like the creeping death once did, might be another manifestation of that despair. That explains the elemental's unease, Kupo. We must redouble our efforts to plant saplings or they might never speak to us again. Indeed, well, first things first, we must gather as many saplings as we can. Wait for us at the Adder's Nest and make ready for a long and back-breaking day. I forgot how long these quest lines were, or else how an individual quest was. Can't say that I'm exactly a fan of how long these are. Long back, did the Moogles have any insight into our problems? A reenactment of the ceremony which laid the foundations of Gridania? A fitting plan given the gravity of the threat our nation now faces. As ever, there is much work to be done before we can even begin. While the Moogles gather saplings, we shall continue to scour the Twelveswood for new beasts that must be purged. Let us pray that the elder seats here regains her strength quickly as well. For now, take a rest, my friend. 'Tis a rare indulgence these days, and one you've earned 1,000 times over. And so, that was the quest, A Pact Proven. Thank you for joining us here today for this little video here on YouTube. Hopefully we'll see you again either for another video here on YouTube, or maybe one of our mini streams over on Twitch at the same channel name. Till then though, I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.